Today on my journey to find the worst cartoon in history, I'm going to be taking a look at the show Almost Naked Animals. I have no idea what this show is even remotely about. I've had a lot of people request it saying that it's awful, and a small minority saying that it's the greatest show of all time, but to me it sounds like it's going to be animals going, "Oh no, I'm getting a little bit undressed, I have to stay almost naked, oh." That's just what it sounds like to me. I'm sure it's not like that, but I have no idea. I'm going to be taking a look at 6 random episodes of the show to see, is it good, is it bad, is it a hidden gem, is it something that deserves to be tossed into the trash? That is what we're going to be trying to answer today, and if you like content just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe because I upload almost every single day and you do not want to miss it. And if you want a place where you can talk about your favorite shows, movies, games, all that good stuff, my Discord will be in the description. Now let's finally take a look at Almost Naked Animals. I've made a terrible, awful mistake. Now, when I'm selecting my random episodes, and I can only do random for this show because either everybody hated it or it didn't get enough love, all the episodes almost are just unreviewed, so I had to do all random. There was no best, there was no worst, and I just closed my eyes, scroll on the screen, and I found Saliva Drive. How exciting. You know, I used to be a wrestler, and one of the grossest things I ever had to do is when you're maybe like a pound overweight, and you know you could lose that weight, the best way to do it when you don't have a lot of time is to just sit there and spit into a cup until you fill it all the way up. And you think that would desensitize me a little bit, but no, it's made me more prone to be even more grossed out by saliva. I just am not a very big fan of it. So watching an episode where a character guzzles down a large amount of other people's saliva was not my cup of tea. It was not something that I wanted to see. I was not about it. This episode opens with this octopus guy, and he's like, "Howie, emergency, help me!" And so he runs over. And this octopus, because he had radiation therapy and the sun beating down on his tongue while he was asleep, it's dry as a bone. It's been jorked to its maximum capabilities, and he is going to lose, becoming a cherry pit spitter expert. Yeah, so he really wants to become that, but without any saliva, he doesn't know how. So Howie, the main man, the star of the show, is immediately like, I need to go and ask everybody to collect their spit, instead of just, hey, you want a glass of water? You want a nice big old tall glass of water? No! So he goes to all of his friends and he starts asking them all for their spit, and they all seem hesitant at first, but this works, so we get to watch the characters just start yapping or just sniffing so that they can all collect their spit into this big jar, and it just, I don't know, something about it feels like it's giving me a disease. It feels like something's about to crawl out inside of me and just say, "Stop! What are you doing?"
Baby, spit to spare.
And while watching this, one thing that I really did hope for, I hope that there was one person who somehow sat through this entire episode who has that same thing with the word moist. Moist. Like they hate that word so much that if anyone says it, they just start tweaking and geeking and freaking out because they just, something's wrong with their brain and they're like, "Oh my god, they said the word moist." I hope it's just like that, but with the word spit, to where they hear it and they're like, "Ah! Ah!" That's what I hope for, because they probably say spit over 150 times in this episode. Either way, still very disgusting. They get their first full jar of spit, and they walk over to Mr. Octopus Man, and they're like, "Oh, here, drink this," and he's like, "I don't know if I can do that, man. It seems a little bit disgusting. I don't know if I can do this." So he doesn't want to do it, so Howie goes to get more spit to make it a little bit more enticing, and then this random duck walks over, and I swear to God, it's giving me a hernia, because he walks over and he grabs the jar, and he's just like, "Oh my," and he just starts guzzling it down.
To you and yours. I do not feel well.
And I don't know. It felt like an eldritch horror was sucking out my blood there while watching that. I didn't like that at all. And obviously this isn't the worst thing I've seen. If you watch my Total Dramarama video, you know there's something buried much worse in that episode. Probably the worst thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. But this is still very disgusting. I'm not about it. If you're a person who loves spit and you're probably like the writer of this episode who is like, "Oh god, I want to see almost naked animals. I want to see them spitting. I can imagine drinking their spit. Oh," I guarantee you there's at least one person that was getting in heat to say the least, while watching this nonsense. But, you know, to each their own, I guess. If this is what you like, it's what you like. I'm personally not about it. So Howie now goes and collects everybody's spit, like all the masses, all the population, trying to get as much spit as possible from everybody. And the way that he describes how he wants their spit from them, oh man, is it just great. He walks up to this guy and he's like, how are you gonna be able to lick the inside of your nose without saliva? So he sticks his tongue out and just sticks it into his nose.
Nose again.
Yeah, that was really disgusting. And then the guy tweaks and does the same, so he gets all of their spit, and that was very odd. And then we come back to the hotel, and he's set up like a bunch of hospital beds that are all jorking everybody's tongues, just squirting out all their spit everywhere. Yeah. And all of that just for, sorry, hang on. Special guest. See, he doesn't like spit either. It's a problem. He's getting angry down there. He's getting upset. He's getting pissed off because of how much spit is happening. If you could hear him screaming, he is angry because this is disgusting. He doesn't like to know that dirty animals on the telly are getting jorked out of their spit. It disturbs him. It violates him. He's all for spitting rights, and this was not a part of that proclamation. So the Octodude, he decides he doesn't want the spit anymore, and so he just like licks up all the sweat off of his face, and yeah, he spits real good. That's the end of the episode. Wow, what a time to be alive, huh? You know, just God bless the world, God bless everybody. I hope you're having a swell day. This is just exactly what I needed to start everything. This is truly going to put me on the right path towards understanding the true meaning of life. The fact that I got to watch everybody just guzzle spit into this jar. I got to watch a duck man drink it. I got to watch an octopus lick the sweat off of his body and use it to spit a cherry pit. Dear Lord, are we living, baby? I don't know. I'm pretty grossed out. If I was to give this episode a 1 to 10 rating, I would probably give it a solid, 3 out of 10. Yes, it's very disgusting, but I cannot argue the fact that, it did have a purpose to exist, Like, they needed to get spit. It was a decent idea, I guess. And it's just the ways that he went to do it was really gross to me. That's why I rate it lower. But overall, if you could get past that, I'm sure you would have a decent time watching this episode. I can't say it's objectively funny. It's just more gross. But if you're the type of person who likes gross, then maybe this is just for you. The next episode I'm going to be taking a look at is Cool Paw Howie, and if this live episode showcased how they do gross out humor, this was their attempt to wow me and showcase just a regular episode, their attempt to make me laugh telling a banger joke, and boy oh boy, it was like bang, 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 but, instead of it feeling like an actual banger of a joke, like something I could truly enjoy, it was more like somebody was beating me over the head with a sledgehammer. It was not very entertaining. It's like they were taking a page out of Butch Hartman, the guy whose favorite kind of joke is, gee, well, I hope things don't get any worse, and then it starts raining. Yeah, that's a lot of the jokes that they like to do in this show, and it just doesn't sit well for me. The episode opens with Howie and this bunny and another character watching TV, and we get a lot of jokes about how he likes watching a fridge and there's mustard in the fridge, and how exciting is that? Yeah. And so he sees this commercial that you can turn your place of living, your home, into a prison. So Howie's like, oh my God, I'm so thrilled. I just have to turn this hotel into a prison. I'm so thrilled. I must do this. I just have to. There's no other way. And so he turns it into a prison. And this rooster, this cock, he comes over and he's like, well, I don't think this would be a very good prison. There's too many places to escape. And then we get one of my favorite jokes ever, where it's like, there's too many places to escape, and then Howie appears out of a trap door, and he's like, what places?
This hotel has too many escape areas.
What escape areas?
Ooh! Oh, man. I'm dying over here. Oh, somebody grab me a glass of water. Somebody help me. Oh, man, that's just too funny. Ooh, that was real good. That was real comedic. Did you see how, he said one thing and then immediately contradicted it with another thing? Did you see that? You see that kind of just elevating comedy? That right there, that took a room of 40 writers to do that. Easily. Easily 40 writers. And then we just get even more bangers right after that, because just immediately following that, Howie, he gets introduced to his brand new prisoners because his hotel has been approved to be a prison, and their entire shtick is that they're all really annoying. So the first one, he's this badger, and every time Howie's talking, he just goes, or he just starts blowing his nose or spitting all over him.
I was saying strawberries.
Lovely, lovely. That goes on for about 50 seconds. 50 whole hold the balloons of time. Isn't that great? It's lovely, lovely. I was all for it. And so, Howie now has to deal with the fact that they're all very annoying. One of them likes to tickle people, so you know, he just unconsensually starts just grabbing their giblets and just giving them the good old tickles. And then another one of them likes to glue people. Yeah, he's an anteater and he likes gluing people. So that was interesting. I don't know. Then there's just a bunch of like boring shenanigans that are all the same, where they keep annoying people like for 4 minutes. It's basically the same thing over and over again. And then eventually Howie gets his ass burned with a torch and he's like, I think I'm gonna get a hernia. I gotta get rid of these people. So he realizes that he must become annoying. So for the next 5 minutes, we have to watch him to try to be annoying by like messing with people in really boring ways, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care. It's just him harassing people. It's not very funny. It doesn't help that the show also just looks awful. So anything that is supposed to be visually entertaining just isn't the majority of the time. So Howie keeps trying to annoy people and he keeps failing until he finds the anteater and he just jorks him up real good, jorking his pork, specifically his glue bottle. Not to be mistaken with something else. He jorks him real good, which makes him bust everywhere. His glue, I mean, it goes all over. The white stuff's all over the floor now. And that is cause for arrest, so he gets arrested, and then all of his former prisoners find him to be very annoying, so they leave anyway, and that is the end of this wonderful, fantastic, beautiful, enjoyable, swell episode. Yeah, it's just kind of boring, man. I don't know. The majority of the comedy is just, oh yeah, that could happen, and then it happens, and all of the annoying comedy just, the show is really handicapped by it being very visually unappealing, to where they were relying mostly on visual gags here, and I just couldn't find myself laughing because they just weren't that good. And don't get me wrong, I love visual comedy. I think it can be great when the show actually does something unique with it, and here they just didn't do that. It was not executed to its best ability, and I still don't understand the purpose for this show's existence and why it's called Almost Naked Animals. It just seems odd. I mean, they're just like wearing underwear. Like, what was the purpose of naming it that? Like, you could have just made the animals be animals and it would be the same premise, no? I don't know. Either way, if I was to rate it 1 to 10, I would probably give it a solid 4 out of 10. I wouldn't say it's so abysmal that I'm going to rate it anything below that. It's just very boring. The next episode I'm going to be taking a look at is the episode Dollpox, and I really just cannot luck out with any of these episodes. I hope this isn't speaking volumes for the entire show, because I guarantee you I'm bound to like one of these episodes. I'm really hoping, but I just keep managing to find either the most boring or the most disgusting episodes, and in this case, it's the latter. This episode opens with Howie getting a little danger doll. He actually seems pretty cool. He'll like respond to what you're saying. He gives you yummy meals like tapioca balls. How exciting is that? That's great. And he goes inside to show everybody his doll, and they're all inside of this bubble because they all have chickenpox. So Howie, being his cool self, he cannot handle the fact that he has to manage the hotel by himself and he has no friends. So it goes into the night, and that is when things get a little bit disgusting, to say the least. He starts rubbing his body all over everybody. He makes one of them sneeze on him, and of course, instead of it just being like a clear sneeze, it has to be the green snot sneeze that goes all over his face. He literally like hops up onto the duck dude and just starts going
Aliens are taking my brain.
just starts sucking him dry trying to get this disease, and it's very, very, very disgusting. Did not like any of those scenes at all. I don't know why they have to lean so heavily into this gross out humor aspect, because even as a kid, I much rather preferred things like in SpongeBob, like OG SpongeBob seasons 1 through 3, when they would just tell genuinely good jokes over gross out humor. I don't think there was ever an instance growing up that I would prefer gross out humor over a conveniently told joke, and those jokes have the ability to age like fine wine, where if I go back and I rewatch SpongeBob or I rewatch regular show or a show like that was really good, those jokes just get better over time and I end up finding them even more hilarious. Here, it's just the most, like, low effort shit you could ever do. It's not even telling a joke. It's just, what if we make him have another character sneeze all over his body? That'll be really funny. I don't know. I just don't really get the appeal of gross out humor in that way. I mean, I think it can be used very good in certain aspects, but when you make it your entire episode, it's just not that great. And it just gets worse from there because Howie, he doesn't get sick. He doesn't get sick at all. He goes through this entire fiasco of trying to fake having the pox, trying to fake having it, like he puts splotches all over his body, but he's so annoying, and he tries to have a water fight so it all washes off. That was fine, that was whatever, but it's when he leaves the bubble, once again, that things get bad because he's talking to his little doll and his doll breaks, and then all of a sudden his doll just spews this wretched liquid all over him. It's like this green, snotty, gross, vomity liquid, spews it all over his body.
Yuck! You slimed me!
And Howie's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll go to bed now. He wakes up covered in boils, and he can barely move, and so he goes in there. Well, everybody is done having the chicken pox, so they all leave, and then the octopus wants to bring him his doll so that Howie can be happy now that he's the only one in quarantine, and the doll starts spewing all over everybody in the hotel.
I was sick too! Look!
And it's just such a vile and disgusting way to end the episode. I did not have fun with that even remotely, but yeah. It spews everywhere, destroys everything, and just gives everybody the disgusting disease. And I can't believe, I really just wasn't thinking when I landed on this episode and it said dollpox. I really didn't think it was going to be a sick episode, but I guess I'm just always fated to watch the sick episodes of shows. And this was not very good at all. If I was to rate this episode out of 10, I would give it a 1 out of 10. It was just pure gross out humor for the sake of gross out humor. The plot didn't even prop itself up. I found Howie to be at his just top tier annoying in this episode. I just could not handle it. I mean, just watch this one scene.
All my friends had chicken pox and I desperately wanted them, but I couldn't get them, and then I finally got sick and all my friends were already over their sickness and...
I hate that so unbelievably much. I don't know, and he goes on for so long just doing shit like that, and he can just not prop up an episode without other characters to ground him, and when he's alone just doing shit like that, oh man, it pisses me off so much. I did not have fun with this one. The next episode I'm going to be taking a look at is the episode The Old Act, and it focuses on a character that I haven't talked about much, and it's the Narwhal. He's just another Elvis impersonator type character, so he's just like, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, eh? But instead of, saying that, it's more like, narwhals swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, cause they are so awesome. Oh yeah, mama. That's basically what he does. I actually enjoy his character. I think it's fine. I mean, again, it's just a singer guy, so there's not much to hate. He's having a great show, a great performance, and we actually get my first laugh in the entire series here where he walks over and he's like, oh, mama, I'm on fire, baby. And then it cuts to the duck sitting a few chairs down and he's actually on fire and he's just like, yeah, you are.
I'm on fire, baby!
Yes, you are.
I thought that was pretty funny. That actually got me to laugh. That is a good example of some good visual comedy. I enjoyed it. And then we have his rival, his archenemy, his former friend, Barney the Beluga showing up and being like, oh, hey, oh man, you missing some comedy from your act. And apparently they used to be a duo who would travel around and he would be the singer and Barney would just basically make fun of him in really horrendous ways the entire time. yeah, that's pretty much it. So Narwhal's trying to give his performance, and Barney hijacks it, takes it over, and makes Narwhal feel like shit. So he's just like, "Oh, mama, Howie, please, you gotta help me, Howie. Oh, mama, please, either give me some fentanyl or get rid of Beluga. I need the fent. I need to do the fenny nod. I need to wake up on the toilet and do it, baby. Or you could just get rid of Beluga." And Howie, he just doesn't really see the problem with Beluga, so he makes them a double act, which actually leads to the second time I would ever laugh in this episode, with him talking about advertising, and it's the duck flying a blimp, and he like hits a sign and he goes, "That went well," and then he catches on fire again.
That went well.
Maybe I just really like watching this duck get roasted, but either way, I'm having fun, to say the least. But there is this one scene when Narwhal and Beluga are doing a performance that I found to be a little bit disturbing, to where Beluga's making some kind of joke. I don't remember the full, spectrum of it, but he just grabs onto Narwhal's ass, just grips it, and it's like, "Oh, chunky boy!" Pulls him in and just starts spanking him like this, just spanking him real good. That was very weird. I don't know why that happened, but that's all right. And so everybody loves Beluga, so Narwhal gets the brilliant idea to act like he's a cripple. He just puts himself in a bunch of casts, and because he's in that, every time Beluga tries to make fun of him or bully him or abuse him, nobody finds it funny anymore because, of course, take pity on the person suffering. So everybody just ostracizes Beluga and he has to leave. That's great. Okay, that's pretty much the end of the episode. I laughed 2 times. Everything else was pretty decent, I guess. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're finally here. A good rating. I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. Can you believe that? Slightly above average, leaning more to the good side of things. I actually enjoyed this episode. I thought the plot was decent. I thought the characters were used well. Maybe it's just because Howie wasn't the main focus, and even when Howie was on screen, I was fucking hating my life, because the entire time he was on screen, it's just, yeah, that's basically what I could sum it up as. He's just laughing. That's all he does. I fucking hate it. I don't like his character anymore. The more episodes I watch, the worse he gets. So yeah, that sucks. But because he wasn't the main focus and we've just focused on the Narwhal guy going, "Oh, mama. Oh, baby." I liked it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, 6 out of 10. The next episode I'm going to be taking a look at is Trance Romance, and I will give this episode props that it actually does something a little bit unique, but it's still just kind of whatever. The episode opens with Sloth really wanting to date Howie for some ungodly reason. Maybe she's attracted to his almost nakedness. Get it? Did you get it? Are you laughing? Are you laughing? I actually kind of wish they made more puns like that. I kind of feel like that could have gone in depth with the identity of the show, where they're kind of just like always making jokes about how they're almost naked. I don't know. They never really do that, but I feel like it could have added something. Either way, she really wants him bad, but he's always a bit preoccupied with stunts or adventures, and so she is very sad. And that is when Narwhal comes over and he's like, "Oh, baby, what you got inside that basket? Oh, mama. Oh, are those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?" He just starts slobbering down these sandwiches, which leads to an obsession, so he gets this hypnotizing spray, and he goes to the kitchen and he just makes everybody his slaves to make them himself endless amounts of sandwiches, which, for that being the B plot, I actually found that way more interesting than anything that the A plot had to offer. It's just Narwhal getting force-fed a bunch of sandwiches for a while, and I like it. He eventually becomes extremely obese.
More sandwiches, so conflicted.
I liked that. What else could I possibly say? It was good. It's just a fat Narwhal who sounds like Elvis going like, "Oh, baby, too many sandwiches. Oh, fuck. Oh, God." Yeah, I liked it. What else could I say? So Sloth eventually uses the hypnotizing spray on Howie to take her on a bunch of dates, and he just starts being way too romantic. I found all of that to be insanely boring because both of the characters just fall flat the entire time. I just don't care about what they're doing. I would much rather watch the fat Narwhal run away when his hypnotizing spray eventually stops working, and all the other creatures, they start chasing him with sandwiches, trying to just force it down his gullet, and that is when Sloth starts to not like Howie anymore because Howie doesn't want to do stunts, I guess. So Sloth jumps into a pool of water, which makes Howie become normal again, and then Narwhal also falls into the water, which causes everybody to become normal again. I don't know, it's just kind of a whatever episode. When the main highlight of your episode is the fact that you drew a fat, obese walrus, I mean Narwhal, then you really don't have a lot going for you, unfortunately, and that is just how this episode is. It just falls really flat for me. There just isn't a lot of saving graces, and if I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 4 out of 10. I don't think it's abysmal, it's just something that I would never want to rewatch again. So how is Almost Naked Animals? Is it a hidden gem? No, I really don't like this show. It either relies on gross out humor as its main focal point for the majority of the episodes to be entertaining, or it just has the most bland, tasteless jokes you could ever imagine. I can't imagine just a room of 20 writers just sitting there and the best that they could come up with is a joke like, "Oh man, you have too many exits. What exits?" And he just pops out of the trapdoor. That's just so boring. I laughed twice while watching the show, and both of the times was because a duck caught on fire. That was it. That was the best you could do, and it just isn't going to get me up out of the seat just like, yeah! It's just not that great. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I also liked the Narwhal getting fat, and I guess I liked the fact that he was Elvis, but every other character just wasn't that interesting. Howie was insufferable. He was a shit character, and the more episodes I watched, the worse he got, the more annoying he got. He was a prick to everybody else. He only really cared about what was going on in his life, and yes, he meant well, but it doesn't make his character good. And when you have a character like that, you need another character to ground them, and the majority of the time, that was the bunny character, but the majority of the time, she was just like, Howie, I don't really think you should be doing that. Like, you need like a sourpuss, you need a Squidward, you need a Mordecai to a Rigby. You need somebody who could actually ground the character but also still be funny, and the bunny character is just, Howie, you're being too loud. Oh, you're being too loud, Howie. Howie, you're not sick. And that's just not that funny, at least to me. Like, I don't think any of the characters mesh well to create something interesting or good, and that is ultimately where the show fails. The characters are just awful, the jokes just don't hit, and the world just doesn't feel like it has enough going on to make me ever want to watch the show again. So, that's gonna be it for Almost Naked Animals. I hope you guys liked this. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. I got over 100 more shows on that list that I'm going to be tackling eventually, and you do not want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss anything. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.